Like, we getting off.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with people who, try to jump in front of like a light rail. They don't stop.
They fucked around and found out. Because it takes them, they are heavier, and it takes them longer to stop than it does a regular car.
Because they go on the speed limit.
Force equals mass times acceleration, y'all. Something heavy move fast at your ass is going to hit you hard, and it will be perfectly fine.
Baby,
you see
math, ain't it?
You see the dick, but that's physics, man. One of them, it's all intertwined. I don't remember shit. College was a long time ago.
But because that shit tripped me out though, because it's like, you mad, you want to rush. Like, you want to rush. My thing is that shit, it's not my fault, bro. I'm working like you working. I showed up for work. Bus driver showed up for work.
I mean, he'll be fine. So
he'll be all right.
One dude, when I used to drive for Lyft, I picked up this truck driver. And he was like, truck drivers, they can kill somebody, and it be like they can kill somebody and be alright, because it's like, y'all shouldn't have dropped. You shouldn't have jumped in front of the in front of the car. And he's like, yo.
Yeah, how many tons does a tractor trailer with a full payload or full load weigh? Against a Ford Focus or like a Jeep,
baby, you gone.
a Jeep Cherokee.
Shit,
you're gone.
The only thing that I've seen like cause damage to a tractor trailer is a deer, because they be like a ton by themselves or 2 tons by themselves.
Fucking moose, bro.
It depends on how hard you hit them.
Yeah, you hit a moose, bro. That's a walk.
That thing will just rip your whole
That's like
thing out. Yeah,
that's like fucking them big ass the little things from Star Wars that just 4-legged shit.
What things from Star Wars?
Like, it was supposed to be like this little 4-legged, like, it was like a ship or whatever. I mean, like one of the little roving vehicles. And all I know is like, that's a moose. 6 foot, like 8 foot tall, 1,000 pounds. Your car ain't got shit on that, bro. Like, especially these cars now. That's like fucking fiberglass, bro. Like, they ain't built like they was. Like,
oh no, it's not metal. It's just fiberglass and plastic. Yeah,
I remember. I remember when Deborah and Amanda got into the car accident leaving school. Amanda's little car got mangled. Because Deborah Deborah still had that.
That was like right down the street.
Yeah. Amanda's car got mangled. I was like, shit. Deborah's car ain't had no scratch on it, bro.
And on that note, welcome to this week's episode of Wine and Audacity, the podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Sicard, and I'm joined by one of my 2 favorite people in the world. How you feeling this week, Shauna?
I'm Mike.
You all right?
Mike.
All right.
I'm cooler than chilling. I'm straight. I gotta do that for Key.
Well, as y'all have heard, Key is not here today, but we have a return guest. Our second, I think, were you the second guest we had on the show?
Yeah.
After Ron? Mm-hmm. Yo, Aaron is back in the building. What's going on, brother?
Ain't shit, same toilet. Different shit, same toilet.
Not different shit, same toilet.
Well, I'm confused. Well, welcome back to the show. So what's going on, y'all?
Shit. Same thing.
Hey,
week, school, work, kids.
I'm a preschool teacher now, so
check you out.
Poor kids.
Right.
First off,
I ain't gonna have them in there doing TikTok challenges. Right?
First off, fuck you.
He's talking to Shauna. He ain't talking to me because I ain't saying anything. I ain't say a word.
He ain't disagree though.
Don't do that. Like, yo, I can't. Like, I hear them singing at the table with chicken wing, hot dog. I'm like, we ain't no goddamn chicken.
Chicken wing. Oh, that's a new one.
No, you know that chicken wing, hot dogs and bologna, something like that.
I don't know that.
Oh Lord, that's new.
Them new things.
That was like,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was probably one. That was like the first. I want to say when TikTok started getting hot, and that was like one of those songs that everybody was doing.
Yeah, I don't remember that, brother. I'm sorry.
Like, I'm looking at the kids like, that shit came out. That shit came out before y'all was born, yo.
TikTok has been around that long.
Yeah.
These some new millennium babies, honey.
Yeah, these are babies that were born with the internet.
Yeah.
Yes.
All we had was the phone in the kitchen with the 85-foot cord that you could carry around the house while you doing stuff, knocking stuff off tables and.
Or you got that one room that's just designated for the phone. My great grandmother had that one spot like right there. Like, yo, you talk on the phone. Like, yo, you gotta talk on the phone. You sit right there, and then it got the little desk with the phone book under it.
We so old. I remember when you had to buy your phone from the phone company. You couldn't go to Radio Shack or back in the day, Circuit City, because Best Buy didn't always exist for. Hey Darius, we know you listening. You of a particular age. Back when we were kids, we had to buy our phones from C&P Telephone. Remember C&P Telephone before it was Bell Atlantic?
I'm about to say, all I remember is Bell Atlantic, bro.
You don't remember? My uncle worked for C&P Telephone.
Hey,
C&P.
You don't remember C&P?
No.
This was late 80s. This was like Bell Atlantic didn't come around until like 92, 93. But before that, it was C&P Telephone, Chesapeake Potomac Telephone Company.
IBM.
IBM still around?
Nah, but remember, you don't really see that many commercials for it now.
Oh, I mean, but
like
they don't really make like computers anymore. They mostly do like the business side of stuff, like business side of technology now.
Yo, that shit, it's like,
what does IBM do? Yo, we'll get to the topic momentarily. I am genuinely curious.
My bad.
What does IBM do?
My bad, y'all.
According to multinational technology corporation headquartered in New York, it specializes in computer hardware, middleware, and software, and provides hosting and consulting services in areas ranging from mainframe computers to nanotechnology. IBM is the largest industrial research organization in the world. What the fuck is middleware? I
want to say everything in between. You know, you got. I'm just saying.
The word kind of gave it away.
No. Nah. When I'm talking about like, if the hardware is like that CD-ROM, and then the hardware is CD-ROM, the software is the program. Maybe the middleware is what you put it in, like, you know what I mean, like what it's encased in. I don't know.
Yeah. So according to this, it says, and I'm on the site that is Wikipedia. So trust this at your own risk. Middleware is a type of computer software that provides services to software applications beyond those available from the operating system. It can be described as software glue. Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. Anyway, so yeah, I remember I think we had like an IBM computer. I feel like I'm really far away from the microphone right now.
Probably.
I don't know.
I don't know why.
Can y'all hear me fine?
I can.
I can hear.
Maybe that's my ears. Maybe my ears are full. In any event.
Interesting.
Yeah, right. Shut up, nigga. I know you about to say something ignorant. Shut up. Get ready to get into this topic?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, you requested to come back for this, so we will proceed. So we are going to talk about the last conversation. You weren't on the conversation we had about toxic family members, right? You were on.
No, we was just talking about friends.
Okay, so
it was in the friendship episode in the Q&A last time.
So this episode, we're going to be talking about the effects of dealing with toxic family members. Mm-hmm. I'm sure y'all remember in our very hilarious episode entitled "Carlos Didn't Help Me."
Fuck Carlos.
I was at work listening to that shit, bro. not the new job, but I was working at the school, and my kid ain't show up, so I'm sitting there like waiting for this nigga to show up, and I'm like, yo, I'm just listening. I'm like, yo, the fuck?
I'm telling you, them questions be crazy as shit.
We tried to hold it together for as long as we could. I remember cackling and not being able to compose myself after that. But so the first conversation we had was more so about recognizing what makes up toxic family members and like how to set boundaries and everything.
Yeah.
In this one, we're going to focus on, like what happens after. Or after
you set those boundaries,
after or the effects of just dealing with like toxic family members.
Yeah.
So,
baby, I got a story.
Let me get through.
I'm just letting
like
you know
I say
ahead
in every episode. Let me get to my spiel first before you start telling stories.
Let him use you, Pastor.
In our episode a few weeks ago entitled "Carlos Didn't Help Me," we discussed how to recognize the signs of toxic family members and how they make you feel. In the episode, we were able to pull from real life examples and explain how to establish boundaries from those people and those behaviors. As you get older, you learn that trauma can result from single instances as well as situations that go on for an extended period of time. Dealing with toxic family members can be traumatic, as in many things.
Yes, Lord.
I found an article from choosingtherapy.com entitled "Dysfunctional Family: Signs, Causes, and How to Cope." It was written by Maggie Highland. I can't speak English. It was written by Maggie Holland and provides excellent examples of causes and effect of toxic family situations. When we wrapped that episode, or that conversation rather, we knew that we want to have a follow-up to discuss the effects of living through these situations long after they've ended. Yeah. I want to say for the record, Shauna and Aaron are drinking today. I have my iced coffee and my water.
I mean, you did. No, you did.
I tried to put a shot in his iced coffee.
You did.
Shot of what?
I don't know. You don't have no Kahlua over there?
No, I don't fucking know.
That's going to send you to the bed.
Oh yeah. No.
Keep Kahlua in my house.
No, unless you. I think they do almond milk Kahlua. Like maybe almonds.
Maybe they make almond milk versions of everything these days. That is a beautiful thing.
I don't like the almond milk from Starbucks. I get oat milk. So
You know what? I just had oat milk. Brian got me a smoothie from Wawa with oat milk in it. It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oat milk.
Because I tasted his one day and was like, "This is delicious." What do you want to know?
Yeah, I don't know. It has a weird aftertaste, whatever
It
brand.
do because
Starbucks.
I tried almond milk, but I bought the Aldi's brand. But still, it was vanilla almond milk, and I ain't like
Almond
it.
Breeze. I only see what Almond Breeze because I don't like the
care
other
for
one. Yeah, but no. So real quick before I continue with my spiel, my order from Starbucks, in case anybody wants to give me a gift card, it's iced coffee with oat milk and 6 pumps of sugar-free vanilla syrup. You know, I had to.
You ain't got one of them fucking flat whites you gave me that day, and I was woke for 2 fucking days.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah. Well, you know, I give up sugar every year for Lent. Usually, so I am one of those people to the surprise.
Have you started eating sugar again?
Yeah.
Or just in moderation?
In moderation, yeah. I'm one of those people, surprisingly, that will go to Starbucks and get like 14 pumps of like classic syrup and vanilla syrup and all these other like caramel syrups in my coffee, and it'll be 14 pumps of just shit in there. But every year I give up sugar for
That's
Lent.
a lot, friend.
It is a lot. I'll be tweaking like
I mean, I just get 5 shots of espresso.
5. Nigga,
5 shots of espresso?
You trying to stop your heart
At one time, my nigga?
on purpose?
Yeah.
What?
I get Americano blend, like Americano blend, 5 shots of espresso and sugar.
Oh my God. That's why your ass be woke for 2 days. That's a lot.
So when did I get you your first flat white? It was like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yes, and I was like, you had one and I tasted yours. I was like, oh, that tastes good. So when I went to
didn't tell him what
Starbucks
was in
that
it.
day, I called him. I said, B, what was in yours? I want mine just like yours. So he told me what was in it. I was like, espresso. Okay, all right, I'm gonna try it. It was early in the day, so I'm like, I'm gonna be good. It was like before noon. I'm like, I'm gonna be good. I got stuff to do today, whatever. Baby, when it was time for me to lay down that night, I was in the bed like, this is some bullshit.
Sleepy but wide awake.
I'm tired. I sent
Hell
this nigga a message
yo.
on Messenger like, fuck you and all that you stand for.
Yo, there's no.
I could not go
that's
to
a
sleep. It took me
bad
forever
feeling,
to
bro.
go to sleep. And then when I finally fell asleep, I couldn't stay asleep. I woke back up like I missed something. I was like, I hate him so bad.
Like you start yawning
I
and
swear
shit,
it
but
took
you
2
can't
days
close
for
your
that shit
eyes,
to
bro.
go out of my system.
I had,
So wait, what size did you get? Did you get the venti or you got like a grande one?
What size is that you got?
This is a venti. This is 20 ounces.
Grande is smaller than that.
Grande is smaller.
I think I got a grande.
I'm
Yeah, I
about to
think
say-
that's
I'm
two.
about to
That's
say-
two
Because
shots
it's
of
tall
espresso.
than grande
I'm
than
gonna say,
venti,
bitch.
right?
Yeah.
I think I might have got a grande.
Yo, I had that deaf like the deaf coffee.
Oh,
Nah, it was funny.
The real dark one?
Nah, it got skull and crossbones on the
I've seen that shit.
that's
Nope.
hell no. That's a
I
sign
drank
out.
it.
That is up the devil.
Nah, yo, I drank that shit and I was like, I swear, I was up. Like I'm yawning. It's like the body is sleepy, but the mind is still like, yo, you still moving, and I'm sitting there like, damn, I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't
sir.
have did that. I shouldn't have did it. And I was up, and so I ended up I binge watched Black Lightning. And I'm crying and shit because my man, because the old police chief got killed, and I'm saying like, damn, why they kill Henderson, bro? I was like, damn, he was just out the force.
So I will say for the record that I don't drink flat whites anymore because while I love them, again, it was a whole
lot.
thing. And I would like Shauna. I had one at like maybe 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'll be fine. And then 3 a.m. would roll around, and I'd be in
And
my
I'm
bed.
sitting there Googling what that middle thing is in your eyeball. Like, no, I need to fucking go to sleep.
No,
in
but
bed, lights off.
what's weird is I can drink coffee and go right to sleep.
Something wrong with you.
That's how D is.
That's my
D like that.
Like-
She'll drink coffee all day long and lay there and take a nap.
But then I think the thing with that is for me, because I don't really consume a lot of caffeine anyway. For my system, it probably like right away.
Yeah.
I might be.
I used to drink coffee every day when I was going into the office before we started teleworking. But now that I'm home, once in a blue moon,
I
was
usually get
I want a cup of
coffee
coffee.
maybe
I got a
third.
whole kit. I went and bought myself a whole fucking
Keurig that you don't use.
I do use. Well, they use it more than I did. The folks in my household, but
You know, remember we saw
I bought the one where you can make the single cup order.
Yeah.
Baby, I couldn't wait for that thing to go on sale. I went to Walmart. I was like, this thing half off.
I took this nigga to the Coca-Cola Coca-Cola.
Yeah, factory in Atlanta.
Oh, when you went
the
down.
Roller Coke.
Oh, okay.
Roller Coke, yeah.
They showed us the Keurig.
I don't really like Coca-Cola.
Before that bitch was out.
Yeah.
And we was sitting there like, yo, we gonna
Not,
grab
I just
that.
said I don't like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. I'm not really a big fan. I'm a Pepsi fan.
Whenever you
There's a
make it,
difference. I don't care what people say.
of course it is.
You can
It's
taste the difference.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola is sweeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pepsi got that.
Yeah, it hits you in the back of your throat, especially when that bitch ice cold and you pop that thing and take that swig and go.
That's not as bad as the Sprite from McDonald's, though, because that Sprite from McDonald's.
That is battery acid.
Spicy Sprite.
Fast food Sprite is battery acid because the Sprite in the can don't hit the
It don't
same
hit the
way.
same.
It's more
But a
concentration.
can Pepsi hit harder than a bottle Pepsi, if you ever noticed.
But whenever we get you down to Atlanta, because I love Atlanta, that's one of my favorite places to go. Traffic and foolishness aside, I got to take you to the World of Coke so you can, because they have, I think they do it at Coke. Coke has an installation at Disneyland or World, and then World of Coke, and they have all the sodas that are available before the gift shop all over the world that you can't buy, you can't find in the States, because different countries have different types of Coke, different types of
But I heard
Fanta.
a different.
And they got
Allegedly,
Oh yeah, some countries have Star Fruitopia. Yeah,
allegedly, and other countries, you know how they said back in the day that there used to actually be Coke inside of Coca-Cola.
yeah.
Go to Colombia.
I heard in other countries they still legally do that.
Colombia.
Allegedly,
Colombia.
baby.
Coke capital of the world.
Before we get back on topic, I saw a video, I think it was on Vice, of how they actually like make cocaine. It was like a cartel.
From the coca plant and all that stuff.
People
Stuff like that is interesting to
Their
me.
faces were totally shrouded, so you couldn't see them.
Of course.
But they make it, I think it was gasoline. They like distill it. And it was trippy as shit to watch them actually like pull it from the plant and make the powder. But yeah, I think they use gasoline and like.
Well, now we know why these
process.
Negroes be out here acting the way they act off that shit. Cause
They
baby,
call it booger sugar for a reason. Let's get back on topic, y'all. 'Cause we however many minutes in and then gone back on another side.
not
so
booger sugar.
booger sugar. So, per the article that I mentioned before, our side on beverages and cocaine, the American Psychological Association defines a dysfunctional family as a family in which relationships or communication are impaired and members are unable to attain closeness and self-expression. This means that dysfunctional families include interactions that impact healthy communication. Really, Shauna, you just shuffling?
It's about to
Sorry,
It's about to be loud.
my bad.
Okay, you back?
I'm back.
Okay. This means that dysfunctional families include interactions that impact healthy communication, emotional safety, and sometimes physical safety. The classic example is family members being difficult around the holidays, but it can take more sinister forms involving frequent parent-child conflicts, rivalry, emotional abuse, and or sibling abuse.
I know all about that one.
We'll get into that into a second. So the article also mentions roles of family members. I want to discuss each one and see if y'all know this or if you have been called one of these.
Okay.
So y'all ready?
Yeah, I'm with it.
All right. Role number 1: the scapegoat. The person in the scapegoat role is the identified problem and is usually blamed for all of the family's issues, whether they are actually the problem or not. This role is typically, although not always, held by one of the children. Do you know, or have you been called, or have you been considered the scapegoat in your family unit?
I believe I have because I'm always the one trying to increase the peace between folk
But
and trying to bring the family back together. So when I try to do that and shit don't go the way that it should, then it's, Shauna said, Shauna did, it was Shauna's fault. Yeah, so now everybody can kiss my ass.
Aaron?
Disrespectfully.
Scapegoat per se, probably. I mean, me and my brothers probably could have been a scapegoat when we ain't know it. You feel me? Like if anything didn't go down, like I had to get the kids or I had the boys or whatever. But I do believe that because it's like some of my family members had like addiction problems. They became the scapegoat for them because just off the strength of
Because they doing this.
It's easier to be mad at. It's easy to be mad at the cokehead, or it's easy to be mad at the drug user, versus like actually like dealing with the particular problem or dealing with what's in front.
Or what caused that?
Yeah. So instead of like everybody yelling or everybody arguing or whatever, then it's like, oh, Uncle such and such is like, it's Uncle such and such fault. Like, or they'll start talking about him.
Okay.
Out of nowhere, like, I seen such and such. Oh, he was high out of his mind. And it's like, then everybody start talking about that. And it's like, okay, we not gonna talk about this. Okay. All right, it's over.
Okay. No, I've not been considered the scapegoat, and I personally can't think of anyone considered the scapegoat in my immediate family. So role 2 is the hero. This person is high functioning enough that the family uses them to convince themselves that there is no issue within the family. This person justifies the presence of the scapegoat and carries the burden of presenting the facade of the family being functional. Does it sound familiar to either of you?
I'm sorry.
Say it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can make sure I heard that correctly.
Role 2 is the hero. This person is high functioning enough that the family uses them to convince themselves that there is no issue within the family. This person justifies the presence of the scapegoat and carries the burden of presenting the facade of the family being functional.
So basically, ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong. Like we all right.
Because such and such is straight.
It's fine.
It's fine.
So we don't know why this one turned out like this. Because
exactly.
Exactly. Yes. I feel like everybody has one of those in the family who be like, oh, well, my kids is good. So I don't know what's wrong with yours. Or such and such that turned out like this. So why are you like this? Or your sister is fine and she's functioning and she's this. But what you don't realize is his sister then went to therapy and got her shit together. And that's why. Because she could have been him 10. Baby. Ooh, I wish Auntie. Listen, Chad, I wish my aunt was here. Because she could speak on that one.
What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't necessarily know about that. That in particular. Like, if it's, yes, I do. Yeah,
you have an example?
My great aunt was like the one that did better. Like, she did better. Like, she had like the better job and everything. And then their little brother, like her and my grandmother's little brother, was like, he was the one that went that went down the road and like drugs and everything, and it's like one was better than the other, but then at the same time my great grandmother is like, ain't nothing wrong, like, you know what I'm saying, like it's nothing, they present like, we all know he got a drug problem, we all know that he drunk, but it's like
she doesn't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a thing all of us growing up in Baltimore. And I think we've had conversations about this, prior to starting the podcast. But with drug uses being so widespread, when we were coming up as kids, we were born in the mid '80s, and the crack epidemic was already underway.
Yeah, and
I think a lot of us have family members or parents who had drug problems or were involved in either selling drugs and or using drugs.
Both of mine.
Yeah. Everybody like to party.
Both of mine. My mother is a recovering addict.
She's been clean for over 20 years.
Yep, over 20 years.
We'd love to see it.
Thank you. My father, God rest his soul, went from being a drug dealer to being one of his own best customers.
You mentioned that before.
Yeah, so we've all seen it. And then aunts, uncles, cousins.
Aaron, shut up. It's a serious moment, nigga.
Aaron don't know nothing about no serious moments. But no, seriously, we all got aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings.
Siblings.
I got a brother with
I owe me $30.
who supposedly is clean, but not I owe me $30.
The visual.
We tried to stay clean. We tried to keep it.
The visual I had of this man having a notebook with a receipt from me to me. Like, nigga, you owe me $35.
I gotta go see this nigga about my money.
Go walk in the mirror, nigga, where's my money?
You think it's a game, nigga.
Got it. You trying to jack yourself up in the mirror.
You trying to play me, nigga.
I had to take Shauna to go get some shoes.
Nigga, I was there. You didn't spend that money on no goddamn shoes.
Y'all so damn dumb.
I got you next week, I promise.
Nigga,
don't make me come back, nigga.
I'ma see you real soon. Blink, nigga, that up.
Hey, yo.
But y'all stupid, but yeah, like we between all three of us, we have several family members who've had drug issues, alcohol issues or both at the same damn time.
Yeah.
Baby, it's a lot to deal with.
I know both of my siblings. So neither one of my parents used drugs, but I know my older siblings. Like, and I mentioned on my mom's side, I have an older brother and older sister who are 18 and 19 years older than me, respectively. And after my sister had her twins, her second and third born, was around the time she started using drugs in the early 90s. And, you know, she was out wilding. And my mother had to actually take custody of my nieces and nephews because my sister just wasn't in a place to where she could take care of them. Thankfully, like Shauna's mother, she hasn't been as clean for as long, but my sister's been clean for several years now. And I think I mentioned this before, but you know, there's the lasting effects of dealing with the drug addiction and the associated problems for 20, 30 years.
And words of Judge Mathis, you know, you might not be a crackhead anymore, but you still got crackish ways.
Crackhead tendencies. No, but like,
You're a crackhead.
and my sister even said, you know, when we talk, I'm not gonna say the nickname I call her because it's rude, but I think I've told Shauna the nickname I call her.
Hey, yo.
Don't shut up, Aaron. Let me finish my thought.
But
When we have conversations,
I told him he had a special place in hell.
I can talk about my sister, but can't nobody else talk about my goddamn
That's
sister.
right.
I remember his ringtone.
Shut the fuck up, man. No, but I remember her saying, we were talking after our mother passed a few years ago, that she was glad, and that one of her big achievements was the fact that she actually was able to get clean. And our mother saw her get clean before she passed. And she kept, you know, mentioning, like, I could only imagine how I would feel if I was still out there doing what I was doing and our mother ended up passing and I wasn't there. And, you know, my mother and my sister have their own rocky relationship throughout the years.
Yeah.
Which I won't get into because my sister's not here and that's not my story to tell. You know, I've seen it. And to have that sense of peace in a way, I guess, I'm glad my sister was able to have that sense of, like, make peace with that portion of the story in their relationship.
Absolutely.
We've seen, especially like with parents and siblings, or our siblings and parents, or like maybe our aunts and uncles and their children, how the child that is most like the parent, they tend to clash and bump heads because that child knows how to, or that parent knows how to get under the other person's skin.
Absolutely.
And they dig and poke at each
you
other.
You are me and I am you.
They poke at each other, they dig with each other, even if it is inadvertently or unknowingly. They get under each other's skin because they know how to. And they trigger each other because the personalities are so similar.
Yeah.
It wasn't personal.
Yeah.
And on that note, we have 3 more rules to go, but we're going to build in our commercial break so I don't have to, you know, cut off somebody mid-laugh or mid-chomp or mid-word. So we're going to take a commercial break.
I'm gonna say, what we baking, my nigga?
This isn't Costco. I don't have no pizza bakes ready. We're going to take a commercial break and we will be right back. And we back. Hey, niggas.
DJ E.
Don't. We can't
Don't
do
you
that.
start
We
it,
can't do
goddamn
that.
it.
We can't do that. We can't do that.
Yes, sir.
But let's move on. So, rule number 4, the caretaker.
Oh, shit.
This individual attempts to keep everyone in the family as calm and happy as possible, even if it covers up deeper issues and dysfunction. While this helps the family to operate on a daily basis, it ends up preventing the family from healing and functioning in a healthier way.
Ooh. So my favorite aunt, y'all might have heard her on the end of episode a month or so ago.
Hey, Aunt Ruth.
Hey, girl. But she's always been the caretaker in the family because she's been trying to break generational curses.
Right.
Because she will always talk about, you know, the way the reason she is the way she is with us. You know, being open and letting us know she's there for us and to come talk to her and stuff is because she didn't have that growing up.
Right.
She grew up in a generation that what goes on in this house stays in this house, so nobody talked about anything or dealt with anything.
No, we all did.
Right? So she tried her best to not do that with us. And now that she's getting older, she ain't old, but she's getting older.
Yeah, I'm about to say, don't
She's looking to pass the reins down to somebody. And my sister cousin, which is her daughter, she ain't with the shits. She would, listen, I stay over here in my little bubble. I ain't got to deal with y'all niggas. Whatever. So, of course, I'm the next person in line for her to pass that stuff down to. But I also told her that what I'm not going to do is force people to act right. And if I try to do family functions and try to get everybody together and it's always we busy or this going on, but then turn around and say, we don't never had nothing as a family. Well, every time I try to get y'all niggas together, it's always some bullshit. So she's passing the reins down to me, but I done already let her know. Guess what? Whoever show up, show up. Who don't show up. And we going to enjoy ourselves and do what we need to do. Because what we're not going to do is this.
I want to bring up a something interesting to piggyback off of what you just said. So after my mother passed in 2020, my sister and I were talking like every day. Of course, this is a traumatic instance. Situation was traumatic. We were there when my mother passed, and it was traumatic.
A lot.
3 times. It was a lot.
Yeah.
But for several months after she passed, we spoke pretty much every day. I want to say for at least
about a month.
No, it's maybe like a good 3 or 4 months. We spoke literally every day. And I made it a point. My mother was the person who was the caretaker. I can say that this, without a shadow of a doubt, is my mother. She assumed that role for everybody.
Absolutely.
She picked up the slack for everybody. Excuse me. Growing up, our house was, my mother called it the family house. And
we know it.
My grandmother's house was that house.
My mother was one of 7, 5 girls, 2 boys. Be it an aunt, an uncle, a niece, or a nephew, one of the kids. If somebody in the family needed a place to go, they could always stay at my mother's house, regardless of who else was staying there. She assumed that role for everybody, and a lot of times to her own detriment, because she wanted to make sure everybody else was good.
There it is.
She would put other people's needs ahead of her own. And don't get mad. We love you, Key. But sometimes I think Key fits this in some aspects as well.
She's definitely the caregiver of the family.
Because she'll drop her stuff.
That's just who she. Her heart is so big, and so she so often puts how she feels
to the side.
And we to be there for everybody else, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
But sometimes it's to her detriment.
But
for stuff
sometimes
she wants to
just
do.
be so overwhelmed,
Yeah.
so overwhelmed. But you can't help it. She just got a beautiful spirit and a beautiful heart.
Key Hive, we know your girl is a thug. You know, she sit here with her quips and come in and then go out and be back here chilling like she the dawn of the family. But she has a big heart.
Yeah, she has a very big heart. I've seen her do stuff for people who I felt didn't deserve her love, her grace, her presence. But that's just who she is. She's just a huge
no
heart.
face, no case. We won't say no names.
No,
I think a few months ago when we were here recording, I asked her about something, and I was like, Key, like, if you want to do something for yourself, do it. Like, you spend so much time worrying about everybody else, and you do for everybody else, and you put your stuff aside to take care of people and run this errand and do this and do that. I said, prioritize yourself. And I think it might have went on too long because she was looking at me, and she rolled her eyes and just went back to looking at the phone. I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop because I don't want to get cussed out.
I think a lot of us are guilty of that, though. Kind of putting everybody else about our well-being.
My grandmother, my mother's mother, like she is a caregiver of the family.
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, y'all know her. Like everybody goes to her. Everybody trusts her with everything. And I think when she was taking care of Granddaddy, when he passed, I believe that was like that weight was lifted. And then I remember I called her one day. Because just as I was close, like I was in the area. Mm-hmm. This motherfucker was in Vegas.
I don't blame him.
And she was like, because her best friend died, and then my great grandfather died, right close to each other. So she was like, the granddaddy died. That was, you feel me, like that was kind of like that straw. You feel me, like. So she just had to get away. So she went up with her other homegirl out in Vegas, and she was just chilling. But also Keita is the caregiver.
That's his wife.
Yeah, she the youngest.
Yeah, she the youngest. She the youngest of 2. But everybody, she constantly puts like everybody else before her.
Mm-hmm. I got a girlfriend who's like that. She's the youngest. She's the only girl. And she's the caregiver for her mother.
Oh no, it's not.
I'm the oldest and I'm the only girl. But if something was going on, I would be my mother's caregiver.
Yeah, of course.
I already know that.
No,
my other girlfriend, she's the only girl out of all brothers. Right. So, she's the same way.
But I think we're confusing, or we're starting to conflate caretaker as defined in this role and caregiver. Mm-hmm. It says the individual attempts to keep everyone in the family calm and happy as possible, even if it covers up deeper issues and dysfunction. Being somebody's caregiver, I mean, while it may the role may fall on you, it doesn't really, at least to me, it doesn't align with the definition of
no.
But
I don't get what you're saying.
But that's key to a T. Like she'll put everybody else's she'll put everybody else's feelings before her own, just to make sure that
trying to get your peace.
Just to make sure that this person is good, or just to make sure that her and her sister, like her sister and the mother, everything is cool. But at the same time, she carries that burden, she carries that burden of being the go between for everybody. However, now to your point about twin is, it's like, yo, I be trying to tell her, like, yo, focus on, spend whatever you want, like, yo, if you we'll get paid, and then she be like, I want to get this, I want to get this for myself, and it's like, yo, I mean, she'll tell you, yo, I rarely say no, like I rarely say no with anything, anything that she wants. I can count on one hand how many times I said no. And if I said no, it was because we probably had to put money somewhere else, and then, all right, fuck it, get whatever. But I be pushing her to do it, but then at the same time, she'll do something for herself, and then she'll feel bad about doing something for herself. I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like, fuck that, fuck them. Like, if you, yo, do for you. Do for you, because you can't, worry about, it's okay to worry about you.
Yeah. Back to what I was initially saying, because I think I lost my point because I started talking about something else regarding my mother and my sister. But so after our mother passed, like I mentioned, my mother was the caretaker. She was a caregiver for our family. She would assume that role for everybody. And one day while my sister and I were talking, I told her point blank, straight out, came out and said, you are the oldest child out of our mother's 3 children.
Yeah.
I am not assuming the role of caregiver or caretaker. I'm not checking in with everybody all the time.
Yeah,
I'm not working to get everybody together. I said, as the oldest, as the only one of our mother's children with children and grandchildren of your own, it is your responsibility to keep us together, quote unquote. So if you want us to spend time together, you want us to do stuff, you are the person who needs to coordinate schedules, get people together, make a plan, and execute it. If you need my help with something, fine. But I'm not assuming that role like our mother did. So don't come looking for me. And of course, it's been 3 years. And she recently, about a month ago, when we were out for Pride, I don't think I told you that, but
I remember you said she called you.
She sent me a message and was like, oh, I miss you. I miss us spending time together as a family. We should really do X, Y, Z. We should blah, 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 blah. And my response was, well, you need to plan something.
Yeah.
I can't coordinate the schedules of 6 adults, their children, go pick people up, drop people off, take this person here, do all of this. I'm one person. I said, those are your children and grandchildren. You need to make the effort. You can't say you miss the family, but you don't do anything to facilitate something happening. I said it falls on deaf ears. And of course, all I got back was, okay, I'll plan something, and I ain't heard nothing
So
since.
it's like, in my family, like I said, my Aunt Ruth has been the one who tries to facilitate everything and put everything together and get everybody together, right? And we are both grands of my grandmother, because Aunt Ruth technically Aunt Ruth is my first cousin.
Right.
She's not my aunt, but she's older, so I've always known her as my aunt. Right. I'm one of the youngest of my grandmother's grandchildren. My grandmother had 7 children, and then she had,
That was back when
how many grandkids is it?
They was pushing them out.
Yeah, she has 7 children. My mother is the youngest.
What you say? Your father was 1 to 10. 7, bet.
Yeah, my mother.
I'm eating watermelon.
My mother is the youngest, and she has the youngest children out of all the grandkids, except for my uncle, whose daughter is a few years younger than me. But
Who, Tiffany?
now it's getting, no, Pretty is younger than me.
Oh, shit.
So I was the youngest girl. She's the youngest grandgirl now.
Is she actually pretty? Okay.
She's the youngest grandgirl. You
Aaron,
can
shut up.
He's so dumb.
No, I'm saying, because niggas be naming.
We're not
their
getting
kids.
into that. Shauna, go back to saying what you were saying.
He's so
please, 'cause
dumb.
He about to go off on another damn tangent.
Yep. But yeah, she's the youngest girl, and then
I don't want the
my
problem.
little brother is the youngest grandson. That's before you get into the great grands. There's a lot of us. But anyway, I say that to say, like I said, my aunt is passing the reins down to me now because nobody else. And she's one of the oldest grandchildren. So I think that's why she took over that role, because my aunt is the oldest child that's still alive. My Aunt Helen is my grandmother's oldest child that's still alive. So I consider her the matriarch of our family.
Right.
Because she's, the oldest one of my grandmother's children. There's only 3 out of my grandmother 7 are still alive.
Same.
Yeah,
That's how-
only
yeah.
3 are alive.
Same.
That's how I feel about. That's how I feel
My
about.
mother lives out of state. My mother is not gonna do it. But like I said, my aunt is the matriarch. She's older now, and she's like, yeah, I ain't doing all that. Whatever y'all gonna do, let me know. I'll show up. That's it. So I get it. But like I say, it's only so much that I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna continuously try to message people. Like we were supposed to have a, event last year, and we ended up having to postpone it because it's supposed to rain that day, and it ended up not raining. I was pissed off, but then everybody all of a sudden couldn't make it. They had, excuse me, y'all. They had other stuff planned.
Let them use you.
You know what?
I had to take a sip of water. I'm a little pepper in my throat. So, like, I made the effort. I tried. Shut up. I tried. And I'm going to give it an attempt this year. I am. But guess what? Last year, everybody ain't show up, but we had a nice little group and we had a good damn time. And that's what's going to happen. That's it.
I think my family is a bit similar in that a lot of times, especially that my mother was one of 7. She was the oldest girl. And the role that I said that she assumed for like taking care of everybody, she did that for her siblings because she was the oldest girl. She had an older brother, but she was the oldest girl, and then everybody else was younger than her. The other 5 were younger than her.
Yeah.
So she was the caregiver for all of her siblings while my grandmother was at work. And I've noticed, like, as the 7 of them got older, and of course, one of my aunts died 20 years ago. One of my uncles died a couple years later. My grandmother passed in 2009. We didn't really have too many family functions where everybody got together. I remember like one family reunion that had been planned for like 6, 7, 8 months. And then the usual 10 people showed up. Instead of like, my mother's, again, she's one of 7. My grandmother had 19 grandchildren. I'm number 18 of 19. And it was literally across the children, the grandchildren, great-grands, cousins, 10 people showed up. And it was like, my aunt was like, well, why am I doing all this and putting together doing all this work if nobody comes? Why? Like, why keep putting this effort in? You keep inviting people to the house and checking in, and you bring this, you bring that. Okay, cool. And then day of, nobody shows up, or 10 people out of the 50 that RSVP showed up.
I can understand that. When Bud go, God forbid, no time soon. But it's like, I don't know if who's going to take that, who's going to take that role, because I believe that Bud is the matriarch of my my mother's side of the family, and where they go to her, like everybody goes to her, even when she was sick, even when she was sick, I think that was probably the only time where like nobody really fucked with her on that on that particular stance. But it's like when she came back, it's like that time when she was like healing or whatever, and it's like you really see who did what, or who was gonna do whatever. Like a lot of shit ain't happened. Mm-hmm. But I believe that she's the glue of she's the glue of the family as far as being that go between everybody, because everybody has a special relationship with her, and sometimes it's like, if they ain't gonna do shit unless they hear from her.
Right. I think, to be honest, even now, like my mother has 2 sisters and a brother that are still living, and I mean, they're all like, if they're not 70 yet, they'll be 70 within the next couple of years. And they're all older. They have kids, adult children in their 40s. They have grandchildren. Some have great-grandchildren at this point. And I know, like, for them, sometimes it's hard to, like, they'll go weeks and months without talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like, I know, I'll say, well, I won't say that because, again, it's not my business. I don't want one of my aunts trying to threaten to whip my ass because I done told family business. So I ain't going to say that because I was about to say something. But
that's toxicity.
Yeah, it's hard because maybe they didn't learn or have that close relationship. Maybe they did when they were growing up because they grew up in the same house and they're all literally within like 11 to 14 months older than, back to back.
I mean, but sometimes you can grow up in the same house and be worlds apart.
Of course.
Facts.
So, and thank you for segueing into the next role. Role 5, the lost child. This family member tries to blend into the background in order to avoid being involved or creating conflict. This person is usually more of a loner and usually struggles with self-esteem. And I will say that I actually identify with this one.
Me too.
I've learned, watching my mother deal with working multiple jobs to make ends meet, having to deal with my sister and fussing with her and taking up her responsibilities, raising her children. I learned, and I think I've mentioned this in the previous episode, I learned early on to, one, avoid conflict, blend in, don't cause mess, don't cause foolishness, because that would make my road, would have made my road the easiest. But the downside to that is
It's less attention on you.
It's less attention on me, because I was seen as the kid that didn't cause problems. So my mother didn't feel like she had to give me time and attention. Of course, all children need time and attention, but because I wasn't the one causing problems, you straight, you not causing no problem. I see you straight, you fed, you clothed, you sitting there watching TV, minding your business. All right, I'm gonna leave you alone. Let me take care of the ones that's giving me problem.
I believe Keita's the lost child. Because I'll say first child, like her and her sister like 7 years apart. So it's a thing of you always worrying about the first one, and being like,
or just worrying about the one that causes into
and
stuff.
Not saying not saying that she was like a tremendous problem or anything like that, but it's like I'm always when you always worried about one, it's like the mother mom's trusted Keita to do what she was supposed to do, and it's like I never really had to worry about you,
right? But you kind of still did, because I still needed that emotional care and support.
Exactly. And that's the problem. I mean, I think that's the issue. I mean, I think that's the issue now. Whereas though it's like, it's not that even now, like with, us trying to work through things, and they trying to work through the feelings. It's like, to her, I was doing the best that I could. But then at the same time, it's like, I never had to worry about you. Yeah. You always did what you were supposed to do. I can always trust you to come home when you got out of school. Like, and for you, sir, you had a golden ticket.
Ooh.
You nigga. Your mother worked. She was gone. When you got up to go to school in the morning. She was gone when you got up to go to school in the morning. She didn't get home until after I got from school, so I couldn't. Hell yeah.
I could have literally skipped my whole senior year of high school, and she wouldn't have known, because I would have caught the call from the school.
Exactly.
And erased it off the call ID.
Baby, I caught a few calls in my day.
And I literally could have skipped my whole senior year.
Until that one day, Jesus, my mama came home from work early.
Fucked the whole plans up. No, but I think so. But I think what the downside to being in this role is, because you avoid conflict, you avoid issues, you don't learn conflict resolution skills. You don't learn how to talk through or deal with your problems. You don't learn how to focus on your own emotions or your own feelings, because you're so worried about avoiding things. And to an extent, you also avoid your own feelings or learn how to deal with your own feelings.
Yeah, you kind of stunt your own social growth.
Exactly.
Like your social growth is stunted, because you had people like Shauna, who is impulsive and sometimes overbearing, sometimes overprotective, and it's like,
I wouldn't say overbearing.
Overprotective, yes.
No, at least not anymore. Now, maybe she was like 18, 19.
But what I mean is, it's like, she, it's like sometimes where she get passionate about something, and it's like, if she's passionate, then it's like, you not being able to, like, at least put your foot down, like, right then and there. It's like, all right, chill, shit, like, all right, relax. We can do that. We okay. We gonna do that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then you end up doing some shit you don't want to do, and it's like,
oh yeah.
And then it's like, then you sitting there in the show. What the fuck's wrong with you? It's like, bitch, I didn't want to fucking be here.
You got anything to add, Shauna, today?
No.
Okay. Okay, role 6. This is the final.
I think I've gotten better.
Yes.
No, I believe so.
You're overbearing.
No, I'm overprotective. I'm still overprotective.
No. Yeah.
But I learned to respect.
Overbearing.
Shout out to Mrs. Howard.
I mean, overbearing might have been a bad word to choose, but impulsive, yes.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
I'm impulsive.
I can admit to that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like when you really feel passionate about it, and you want us to, and it's like, you want us to do it, and you want us to do it together, and it's like, I really want to do this, and it's like, and we all might be sitting there. Like,
I learned I grew because, like, my birthday coming up, and there was something I wanted to do for my birthday.
Your birthday already passed.
Oh damn, it did, didn't it?
You forgot how old you were?
Lord, what month is it?
I did that fast. Your birthday was last.
It damn sure.
2 weeks.
Oh Lord, you right.
Old ass.
I forgot when we was recording, champ.
He's an old ass.
Blame the liquor.
Forgot what month it was. I've been drinking wine, y'all. My bad. But yeah, like my birthday just passed, and there was a few people who it was something I wanted to do specifically for my birthday, and they couldn't make it, and owed me would have felt some type of way. But knew me, it's like, I get it. They was like, all right, well, we can't do this, but what you doing this day? Oh, okay. I know how to accept it now and know that it's not a personal thing. That is, all right, we trying to make room for everything.
One of the best lessons I've learned as an adult is to not take things personally.
That is.
I say, had this been the old Shauna, bro, we wouldn't have heard the end of this.
I would have like, I can't believe this. I'm there for everybody else.
That is I think one of the biggest life lessons I learned in my 30s to not take things personally because people do things for their own benefit, and 9.5 times out of 10, their reaction, their response, the way they move has nothing to do with you.
I was a hard ass lesson to learn. I took everything personally.
Yeah, me too.
I understand. I
stay walking around with hurt feelings.
You a Cancer, so y'all are emotional.
I'm insensitive.
I mean, yeah, I understand that. Whereas though it's like, I think I was on the other side. Whereas though, like you say, you can't get, all right, fuck it then. All right, that's cool. You know
that apathy or the apathy you think you have is a trauma response.
Oh no, I know. No, but I know, and it's
I'm getting deep. That's what he said.
Yo, you gotta put some on. You gotta put some sound effects to that shit. So when you start getting deep.
No, I still haven't figured out how to use this soundboard yet on this thing.
We gonna find out when this bitch like.
Nah, but but see, I understand that it is a trauma response because it's like, yo, most of the time we niggas don't like, y'all don't. I want to say around that like that 2 year, not 2 year period, but when everybody just started going off doing their separate thing, and then it's like, and so it's like
life.
I'm gonna do, like I started partying, started partying all the time, and then even when they didn't, like I think I posted something on Facebook about it, like, yo, I be really stressing like hanging out and shit because shit happens, you know what I mean, like shit happens.
What you mean? What shit like what happens? What happened?
All right. I think Facebook gave me a memory of like probably like 14 years.
Get you together every damn time.
Every time.
But it was like something that happened like 14 years ago where like my homegirl called me from Texas. Like the day she called me from Texas, talking about she was with her friend and the friend got shot like right in front of her.
Jesus.
Yeah. So for me, and I posted something and I was like, yo, I really wanna
My bad, I pulled a Shauna and cut off my phone. Go ahead, Aaron. Proceed.
No, but it's like, I was really stressing like hanging out with everybody because it's like, yo, anything can happen. Then I remember I was like, yo, we got into it in the comments, like, yo, it's not that. I was like, yo, every time we go out, it's always me, Ty, Byron, and Baltimore. And she was like, and they were like, nah, it's not like that.
She who shall not be named. Keep going. Keep going. Don't get Shauna started. Please don't get Shauna started.
But I'm saying. But it's like, they got mad, but they was getting mad. They was getting mad at me though, cause it's like they would get upset with me because it's like it's not like that. I was like, yo, it's not like that. But then at the same time, when we invite you, y'all be like, yeah, we coming, but then you don't show up. And it's like, yo, I mean, years ago, it's like, bitch, I'm gonna stop inviting y'all. Like, and then when we stop, then it's like, why you don't never call me? Because you always say no.
Yeah.
But remember, we also have an example that hits a lot closer to home of the situation. When Shauna was dating her son's father years ago,
oh Lord,
there were issues.
Yeah.
Can I tell the story? Or?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Okay. I mean, it's
I
been
have
like
grown.
15 years.
I have grown.
Hallelujah.
So essentially,
thank you.
well, no, out of respect for Key, I won't tell everything because she may not want that out there.
Right.
But there were some issues in Shauna's relationship. He was approached about some stuff
we don't
talk about.
Ultimately, we weren't comfortable. She wasn't.
Yeah, she wasn't comfortable.
Ultimately,
She tried to come between me and all of my friendships.
Yes. But it came to a point where I actually had to get on the phone after hearing about how he was treating Shauna, and I had to tell the nigga like straight up, nigga, don't put your hands on. I don't give a fuck what you say. Me and him had word. No, literally, Shauna called me. I thought it was just Shauna. She passed the phone to him, and me and him was going back and forth. And I said, nigga, fuck all that.
He was jealous. He was very jealous of the friendships that I had.
And I said, nigga, fuck all that. Don't put your hands on
because his thing.
Don't
He was afraid of somebody convincing me that I deserved better because I did. Yeah,
and did.
But I brought that up because it came to a point where, it came to a point where I don't know if the message wasn't getting through to Shauna, but we tried several times. Me, Aaron, and Key tried several times to sit down with her, have conversations about how like all of us were feeling.
Low self-esteem, jam.
And she was like, "It's fine," but she would still bring him around when we would hang out. He would always come with us
because in my mind, I wanted the people I love all to be together.
Right. And it came to a point where
knew me would never.
After again growth, it came to a point where we started doing stuff without Shauna. For a couple of months, she would see pictures posted on back then. It was MySpace,
Black Planet.
She would see the pictures, and she brought up that she felt some type of way, and
I felt left out.
She felt left out, but we had to remind her, like, Shauna, we brought this to your attention several times. If the person you choose to deal with, nobody's saying you can't deal with him or fuck you for dealing with him, but if he's making people uncomfortable and you choose to deal with him, that's your right. But we don't have to deal with him. And if that means not inviting you because you can't seem to separate from him, then that's unfortunately the path that we have to take.
And I had to accept that. I was in my feelings. I was hurt about it. I felt like exactly what was being filtered to me was that they say they don't give a fuck about you.
Just for the record, I did. Like,
older Shauna feels better.
No, I did. I still wanted to invite you. We
all wanted to. It wasn't like we didn't want to, but
as an adult now, as an older adult now, my theory is I'm not going to drop you off. And because at the time, he was the one that was driving. So it's like, can you take me to go, take me over here, whatever. And it's like, I ain't drop you off. I ain't going.
Yeah, that's before I got a car.
Yeah, it's like, I ain't dropping you off.
Once I got a car, baby.
I ain't dropping you off if I ain't going type shit. So it's like, and so, we knew. Like, I seen it in your face, like, you ain't want him to come. And it's like,
I felt like I ain't have a choice.
I ain't want him to come, but he's here. And it's like, all right, cool.
So let's try to make the best of it. But I understand. And I think we've had this conversation and apologies have been sent out, and
we've gotten past
like
this.
that. We've gotten past it.
It's been over a decade.
Yeah, because
that nigga 15.
Trey be 16 this year.
Yeah. So this is before Trey was born, right?
No. It was,
like right when Trey was like a toddler.
It was after, too.
Infant?
It was after.
Okay.
Yeah, this was
because we didn't break up until Trey was almost 2.
Okay.
Yeah, we never once. I remember it being said to me. I think Key may have been the one who said it to me that she told everybody to leave me alone because when I was done, I was going to be done, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
When I was done, I was done. Never went back. Never reconciled. Nothing. And it's been almost 14 years since we've been together.
Okay, so moving on to the final role, role 6, the golden child. And I've been called, I've been called this by my sister several times.
Really?
Yes. But I'll get to it after I read the description.
Okay.
This is the child that the parent projects, or parents project all of their positive qualities onto, which often makes this child the favorite, in quotes. This child also adopts and lives out the parents' moral codes. I don't think my sister meant it, at least in my case, I'll start first. I don't think she meant it this way, but I've definitely been called the golden child by my sister on several occasions.
Okay.
And I had a smart ass reply, which is not safe for public consumption because I'm a smart ass when it comes to my sister. But yeah, can y'all?
All right.
Lord, I didn't know the sound was on. Sorry, y'all.
That's bitch.
We stayed listening. Well, what you watching?
No, I wasn't watching nothing. It was
your camera at your house?
Yeah, I just got a delivery. My Amazon packages.
I used to think Brandon was the golden child.
That's my birth.
Your brother?
Mm-hmm.
Some of my birthday gifts that just got there.
The reason why is because when he was in school, Brandon was like straight A's, National Junior Honor Society. Went to Western, shit like that. And it's like whereas though I was the resident fuck up. Well, I wouldn't say fuck up, but it's like I just didn't go to class. I ain't really apply myself. So like, grades was at a yeah, shit. I was a C average.
Yeah.
But then I remember when Brandon's grades slipped just a little bit. Like he he went from doing like straight A's and B's and like I think he had like a C or whatever my mother was saying. You know, my mother was talking to him, and at that time he's like, yo, you bring home D's all the time. I'm like, nigga, that's because my bar is low.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
It's like, yo, I was like,
my bar is low.
No, but I'm saying, but the expectations, like because of like, and I could take responsibility in that because of what I did as far as everything else, like, low expectations. So if I got a D, that's great.
It was
you know,
expected.
Like, you know what I'm saying? If I got a D, that's great. It's not failing. Cause you know, like my freshman year, I failed. Middle school, 6th grade, failed.
Y'all would have seen Deborah chasing my ass through
You know what I'm saying?
with that belt.
But at the same time, you were straight A's. You was up. I mean, not straight A's.
I wasn't.
But I'm saying, you was like, yo, you was up there. And I was trying to tell Brandon that I was like, yo, you set this bar for yourself in elementary school, in middle school, in high school. So now that things are things are getting a little harder, you feel me? Like, and you slipping a little bit. Yeah, she's gonna ask you okay? Do you need tutoring and shit?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, you the golden child,
absolutely.
bro. You the golden child. You the one that went to college. You know what I'm saying? But then, you know, and I mean, it's like he felt that pressure. Like he felt that pressure. And I was trying to tell him, I was like, but it's only because that's what that's what you set for yourself. Right. That's the bar that you set.
But do you think that he was your mother's favorite because of that?
Now, I wouldn't.
No, because again, I'm going off the definition from the article.
I used to. I used to because before understanding, like later understanding, like what it was, you know, what it was in the house. It's like, yo, because Brandon was always, you know, good grades and all this other stuff. So it's like, yeah, I did feel like he was, I used to feel like he was great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like Brandon was like, you know, I felt like he was the shit compared to, compared to me.
Okay.
Like,
I
I'm saying? So it's like, I felt like, you know, like she cherished him, or like she would talk about him more because he had more accolades going on. He had more things going on. Right. So it's like Brandon going to Eastern Shore, and it's like, well, what Aaron doing? Oh, Aaron's still working. And it's like, I don't really, I ain't really compare. You know what I mean?
I understand that feeling because, I'm my mother's oldest child, and I'm the only girl. And I remember having a conversation with my middle brother, which we're only like a year and some change apart, about him thinking that I was my mother's favorite. And I was like, nigga, you want to trade spots? Because I'm tired. Like, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's because I was the firstborn. I'm the only girl. It's me and my two younger brothers. And I feel like, a lot of stuff got put on me. Like, me and my mother grew up together. Yeah. Because she was a teenager when she had me. And although she had us back to back, she was like 17 and 18 when she had us. Earlier. Yeah, so I was like, but I told my brother, I said, we can trade spots anytime you want to, my nigga. I need a break. I am tired. My mother can be a lot. Love my mother to death. Yeah, love her to death. Couldn't live without her.
I'm tired of being the go-to.
But my Lord, a lot of stuff fell on me. I was the caretaker for my brothers. I was, when my mother was going through what she was going through, thank God for deliverance. But
won't you do it?
I was a mother before I was a mother. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, I said, I would have loved to have traded spots with one of you niggas. I am tired. And even though I had an older brother on my father's side, I felt the same way on that side. I have a sister now, but she's 20-some years younger than me.
Right.
And I went from being the youngest and the only girl on my father's side to being the middle child. I'm still a little offended. But anyway.
Let that go, sis.
I know. It's been 14 years. Damn. But anyway.
No, but.
Yeah, my little sister 14.
I can.
But yeah.
Go ahead.
I never been able to, even prior to my little sister, before my father died, all of that stuff, I ain't never been able to go to my brother. I ain't never been able to say, hey, bro, I need, or bro, can you, or I've never been able to do that, but he always ran to me. It gets exhausting.
I had to explain to my sister, again, in one of our conversations, she brought up feeling like my mother, our mother in a lot of ways showed up for me better than she did for them, her and my older brother.
Other people say that,
and I've had
about their siblings.
And I had to explain to her, again, my mother had my sister and brother when she was 17, and she had my brother when she was 18, and then she had me when she was 36.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
So you went from
she was a whole different person.
right.
Then
She was married. She married their father. They were poor. They went through all this things. She was basically growing up as they were growing up.
Yeah.
But by the time I came along in the mid 80s, she was already pushing 40. She was in her career. She was living her life. She was an adult. Her 2 older children were pretty much out the house, or almost out the house. And then my father trapped her.
he could have trapped me too. Church was fine, champ.
Love you, Dad. Yeah. Happy Father's Day. You threw me all the way off, fucking off. Anyway, shut up, nigga.
I'm trying to figure out
I had to explain to her, like, my perspective and my situation was different, because yes, we were raised by the same person, but we weren't raised by the same person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, that made complete sense.
Because you were raised by this woman who was under 20 years old, who didn't know where her life was going, while I was raised by somebody who was established with a career.
Exactly.
With a better perspective, who had grown by then.
Yep.
So I get that. I get that. And that's why I like when I pick on my mother and them about how soft they get with their grandkids.
Oh, they all do that.
I crack up because I'm like, this little stuff my son get away with, or my niece or my nephew might get away with. I would have been like, we would have got backhanded across the room. What the fuck's going on around here?
My
Like,
sister said it to me, and because again, my nieces and nephews, my
and I
oldest
used to
niece
say the same thing about my baby
is 6
brother,
months younger than me. Yeah.
My baby brother is 9 years younger than me, even though this grown ass man. But my baby brother.
Yeah.
And
my
it was stuff he got away with that we didn't get away with.
My sister says the same thing.
When we were growing up, and I was like, this is some bull. And I'm an instigator, so I'm like, this is some bullshit, because I got punched in the chest for this. What's going on?
But like you said, it's a different person. They're in a different station in life with the stuff that pissed them off when they were younger.
Teenagers versus her having him in her 20s.
Right.
Nah, fuck that.
Versus who she is now in her early 50s.
Right. But again, it's the same thing. Like you just said, with my mother, having kids as a teenager, then having another child when you in your mid-30s.
Yeah.
Stuff that pisses you off, you're more patient. You learn to just let shit go, because in the grand scheme of things, as long as the child ain't jumping off the roof of a building, it don't matter, because they.
And that's why people keep telling me, I think, Shauna, you should have another baby.
And they're tired for working on it.
That's true too.
Not even that. It's like, yo, I already went through this shit with you. I already went through this shit with him.
I know how it turns out.
I remember Key told us a story one day about how she seen from her older sisters what not to do. Growing up, that she used to be so.
Made me risk
oh my god, she used to tell me some stories. I'd be cracking up, like, yeah, I get it, sis. I wouldn't have done that neither.
No, but that's
because I seen what happened to you when you did it.
Yeah, but that's
so I learned my lesson, sis.
That's exactly what it is. Just like, yo, at this point, because I want to say, I gave my mother hell.
Harley Davidson just.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
I gave my mother hell.
He was in Baltimore City. It would be a dirt bike.
Hell through high school. I gave my mother hell through high school as far as like my grades and shit went, and it's like, yo, and I was failing.
I remember your mother coming up to school one day. She was about to choke shit out your ass.
Oh, she was?
And you was taller than her by then.
No, dead ass. Her and my uncle. You
was taller than her by then. She was gonna lean your ass down like, come here, Ern.
I was fourth period right before A lunch started. I'm walking down the hallway. I'm walking with Shauna, because Shauna dropped off like right before they hit the stairwell, and Kiana was in the tech ed wing. Yo, as soon as I walked through that door, saw my mother and my uncle standing right there.
I said,
I was out of there, bro. And then then they called me down. They called me down to the office. She showed me that, nigga, I'm down the street. Like, it's nothing for me to come up here. If they call me up here, I'm like, I'll be here.
It was always so fun to see Aaron's mother go off, because all I knew was sweet mommy Robin.
And that she wasn't going off on us, so it was fun to watch.
Right. So to see her go off,
she
I was
would
like,
go off on us if we needed it.
Time to go. Oh yeah, like that day I called Aaron's phone and I thought some bitch was answering his phone and it was her. And she was like, who is this? I said, this is his sister. Who the fuck is this? This is his mother. He don't handle sister. I said, oh, Mommy Robin is Shauna. I'm sorry. I ain't know. I'm sorry.
I was like, look, little bitch.
Look, so we went to pick Aaron up that day. I got the call. She was like, hey, daughter. I'm sorry. I am not. I know one of them tramps at the Burger King and took his phone. Okay,
let's wrap. Let's move on to the next part, because we got a whole other section to do.
My bad.
No, you good.
That was fun.
After it's all said and done, the effects of dealing with toxic family members can be long lasting.
Okay.
Since the family is where a person learns to understand themselves, their world, and their interactions with other people, growing up in a dysfunctional family can negatively impact all aspects of a person's life. This can impact a person's sense of self, create a warped sense of how relationships are supposed to look, and can make it difficult to function in normal daily activities. Growing up in a dysfunctional family can have consequences such as a disrupted sense of trust in yourself and others in the world, difficulties dating and forming healthy relationships, increased risk of alcohol and drug abuse, increased risk for psychiatric disorders such as anxiety, panic, depression, amongst other things, low self-esteem, difficulty in maintaining employment, struggling to set and hold boundaries.
Jesus.
Feeling uncomfortable experiencing...
Let me use you, child.
Listen. Feeling uncomfortable experiencing and managing emotions. Yes. And increased risk of having their own dysfunctional family in the future. Can y'all relate to any of these consequences?
I relate all the way.
To which ones? Or to which ones?
All right, so I want to say, like, I felt like, I think that my mother, I mean, well, she would say, you know, she apologizes now about like not being a great communicator and not being like a great example of communication because of, you know, how she was in her marriage and how that kind of like affects, you know, it affects me and my brothers and how we communicate and how we talk to whoever it is that we with. I also felt like, you know, I was put in a box. You know what I'm saying?
How so?
All right, so you know how when you growing up at school and it's like, yo, whatever people believe that, you know, you should do. Like your family members be like, oh, you're really good at computers, or oh, you're really good with this. You should, you know, you should get a job in IT,
right.
Or you should do this or whatever. And it's like, for me, it's like, yo, at that time, I didn't know exactly like what I want to do. You feel what I'm saying? Like I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was doing pretty much everything, cause I mean, pretty much good at everything, you know, good at everything that I try. Yeah. So whatever. Yeah. So it's like, you know, but at the same time, it's like I felt like that. I used to feel like my mom had like this life planned out for me. I would get this, you know, like whatever it was, I would get this kind of job. Like I would get this kind of job and I'd be straight. Whereas though I understand that it's like you want what's best for me, but at the same time, like I don't even know what's best for me.
That part. And that those unspoken expectations, in a sense, even though they are what, not inferred, but implied expectations.
Yeah.
Can mess with your sense of self and trying to figure out how to navigate and figure out your path for you.
Yeah, whereas though she used to say to me like she thought that she broke me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Meaning like she broke my spirit. And because I mean, when I'm in the house, like I was introverted. Like I stayed to myself. Like I ain't really do nothing. I'd be in my room playing a video game or listening to my music. But then when I'm out with y'all, you feel me? It's like, yo, I'm the life of the party. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, and that's when, like, yo, once Brandon got the car, and it's like, yo, nigga, I'm picking you up.
And there was
like,
37 of us inside of a fucking neon.
The neon. Oh,
but you know what I'm saying?
Memories.
But you get it. I mean, It's like, yo, like I'll be out. Like I'll be out and I'll be partying. Like, yo, we going out, we having fun, doing whatever. Or when I started hanging with Ty, and it's like, yo, we partying every weekend. Yeah. And then at that time, yo, I went from DJ, bartender, party promoter.
You were doing a lot of shit.
Like DJ, bartender.
I was working like a Jamaican. He had 9 jobs.
Like party promoter, but still working in Burger King.
Phaedro Park.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, Phaedro.
Phaedro Park.
Phaedro.
But it's like, I mean, the one thing that I learned. Swallow it.
Shut up.
But
over there making a mess.
I am. Look, I just got the wine stain out of this damn shirt.
Put Dawn on it.
I used I bought me some Borax finally.
Borax finally.
I took the stains out of everything.
Dawn is good to get stains out of stuff.
Oh, I'm gonna try that. I got some Dawn in
grease stains and yeah.
That's all I buy is the big ass thing, you know.
I know we old.
As fuck.
Go ahead, Aaron.
But you know, it's like I think when but it got to the point where it's though like I would stop telling her what I want to do or what I'm trying to do, and
just do it.
Nah, I would talk, like I would say something to y'all, like, yo, I'm finna do this, and then it's like, whereas though y'all like, yo, do that shit. But when I would tell her, it's like it's a bunch of questions, and then but then that ended up affecting me in my relationship because Keto asked a bunch of questions. And I'm like, yo, if I just say I'm gonna do it, yo, just let me I'm gonna do it. Or it's like it got to the point where I started making decisions on doing things without consulting her about what I'm doing. And us talking, I told her, I was like, because I knew you was gonna ask a bunch of questions, and I don't have the answers for you. And to you, I don't know isn't the answer.
Right.
So it's like, well, what's the end goal?
I can admit I tell my kid that all the time.
What you mean?
I don't know is not an answer.
But
You're like, Mom, something. Why, Trey, why did you do this? Trey, why did you do this? I don't know.
I see myself where I'm at, but I feel like if I'd have followed what the family wanted me to do,
You would have been unhappy.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
All day.
But you have to at least give yourself some credit that you were smart enough to know that about yourself going into the situation, and not being so flexible to where, okay, it sounds like a good idea, I'll figure it out, and then being unhappy for several years before choosing to pivot out of it on the back end.
But doing that and being like that, I got labeled as rebellious.
I mean, how is it rebellious? You grown. If you're making a choice for your own life, how is that rebellious?
Because I wasn't doing what they thought that what they think that I should be doing.
Okay.
It wasn't like the things that places I was working, it wasn't a career. Like it wasn't a career. It didn't, sometimes some of them didn't have benefits. You feel what I'm saying? Unless, you had to jump through some hoops until you get benefits, or you don't get benefits until you're like upper management type thing. And it's like, how are you going to survive off of that? And it's like, shit, I'm surviving. For me, it's like, I'm good. But now you got a wife. And it's like, we good. For me, it's like, I'd rather us be happy. Like, and sometimes they say love don't pay the bills, and it's like, all right, you might be right, but I'm sorry, yo. Sometimes I'll be feeling like, I'd rather be broke than be miserable.
Broke and happy than be rich and miserable.
Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of ways, I can agree with that to an extent.
I know you got an expensive taste, nigga.
Hell yeah, yeah.
Look at that record. Look at that record collection, bitch.
Damn straight. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I understand. No, but I'm saying it's
but I did what works for me, just like you're doing what works for you, and that's the important thing. But I think one interesting part that you mentioned, and I think having that sense or that emotional intelligence enough to, as you get older, to know that, hey, maybe the situation didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, or the way I think it should have. So let me apologize to you for what happened or the way you received things. I think that was probably one of the biggest things that affected me as an adult, to where my mother circled back as an adult, and she of course had a couple cocktails at the point, so she was, it was the words were flowing. But her thing, like you just said, she always said, well, I did the best I could with what I had at the time. And if that wasn't enough, or you felt like you didn't get what you needed, I apologize, because I could only do what I had the capacity to do.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I think that my family judged my mother. Like,
about what?
She was young. She had me at 17, Brandon at 20, Gerard at 23. Right? And then me and my brothers were boys. Like, we fought, ran, we was loud, and then it's like, yo, robbing in the three badass boys. And I believe that, we were talked about as far as like that. But then when they saw that we did better than everybody else's kids, you feel what I'm saying? Then it's like, oh, it's like, oh yeah, they such and such, such and such, such and such. And it's like, nah, fuck you. Like
we were called bad as kids too, but I remember like a couple years ago on the back end, now that me and my niece and nephews are all in our 30s, she's like, oh yeah, y'all weren't bad kids. She's like, yeah, shit, we didn't get into trouble. I mean, well, most of us didn't.
I'd say 2 out of 3 stayed out of trouble. I mean, 2 out of one.
I'm talking about me and my nieces and nephews. I'm not talking about my sister and my brother.
Oh no, I was saying 1 out of the 3. I'm talking about me and my brothers. I stayed out of trouble. Yeah. But I think I think that
you ever talk about the mugshot, Shauna? Huh? What?
What I do?
The mugshot? With your titties out?
It wasn't me.
It's always interesting to see those family members or just people in general that will bad talk somebody in front of you, and you just sitting there looking at them. Like, I see your colors are on full display, so I already know I have to move around you a certain way. I have to tell the person what you said about them, but I have to
because I'm a snitch. I'm a
I have to start treating.
Don't say nothing around me, bitch. I'm telling.
Hide parts of myself from you, because I know that this is how you feel when this person did this, which may or may not have had anything to do with you. What are you saying about me when I'm not around?
Like
That's why
not,
I have an issue asking for help, because everybody is not genuinely trying to help you.
They're doing
They
it
are doing it so they can say, "Oh, guess what I did for Shauna?
Their own
Oh,
ego.
Shauna wouldn't have this if I didn't do this."
Right.
That
Right.
boils my potatoes,
It butters your muffin.
burns my grits.
as my coworker said, her grandma would say, "That make my ass itch."
I mean, that too.
Oh no, I
I told somebody that made the skin between my toes itch one time. They was like, "Wait, what?" I said, "That's how much you irritate me."
No, I
That's
told
the
her-
most irritating thing. An itch that you be like, "What the fuck is this?"
No, I told the kid, she make my fucking teeth itch.
Yeah,
Not
I
your
told somebody
teeth.
made my gums itch. I get it.
Not your gums.
I was like, as my sister would say, she make my teeth itch. And they was like, what? I was like, yo.
I did.
Shauna, do you have anything else to add?
I do not. That was a lie, but
My bad.
I think I can bring this whole thing around with
Okay.
the whole trying to be the bigger person and trying to keep everybody together and all that stuff like that, right? And at the beginning I said I had a little story to add to this. I have an older brother, and coincidentally our birthdays are the same day. We're 2 years apart. He's 2 years older than me. And like I said, I have never been able to depend on him for anything. I've never been able to say, hey, this guy messing with me, come take care of this. Or this guy did this to me, come take care. Or, I just need my big brother. I've never been able to do that with him. And I hated that. So I always felt like I was the oldest on both sides, right? And I honestly, I'm going to be real honest, and I don't care if I get no flack or no feedback or whatever for this. I really think that he's jealous of me. I do, because it seems like anytime I have something good going on in my life, or I'm at peace, or everything, it'll go from I'm so proud of you and daddy will be so proud of you and I love you and this, that, and the third, to oh yeah, you're a controlling bitch and you this and you that, and you know what I'm saying?
Hey, that episode of Kid Pill, he came to ask his brother to go to be in this wedding.
Yeah.
Shut up, man. He said, first class? Nah, I can't get you first class. Fuck yeah.
But yeah, it's like every time I got something, when I bought my house, we had just made up from some bullshit that had happened maybe the year before. Just started speaking to him again. And because I didn't contact him directly and tell him that I had closed on my house and I had got my keys and I had my move-in date and all this stuff. Oh, you been acting real funny lately. Some. Nigga, what?
Clap
Like-
his hands. Blah, congratulations.
Yeah, like it wasn't genuine. And then like about a month or so ago, I went from being the best sister in the world and I was the backbone of the family and he loved me so much and he couldn't wait to celebrate with me when I graduated from college, to being, oh, I'm a backbiting ass bitch and I'm an instigating bitch, because that's what he said, because he didn't get the answer to a situation that he wanted from me.
I just want to bite back.
Right. I became a backbiting ass bitch. I became an instigating ass bitch. I was a miserable bitch. What else? I've been a lot of bitches.
Two out of three ain't bad.
I hate you so bad. I don't know. And it's just like,
Should that be the episode title? I've been a lot of bitches.
I've been a lot of bitches.
No. We have.
Hashtag Carlos still didn't help me.
I've been a lot of bitches.
And Carlos still didn't help me. God damn it. But yeah, like,
Oh, shit, that's funny.
this shit is just, and I remember the last time we got into it, and I wasn't speaking to him and my grandparents intervened or whatever. My grandmother was like, I got all these siblings, and we get into it about different stuff over the years, but we never stop speaking to each other. I get that.
I hate that shit.
But that was back in the 50s,
bruh.
60s, 70s. This is 2023. And if you ain't bringing no type of positivity into my life and you won't keep disrespecting me, I'm not going to deal with you. So I think that she even got the point, because when the recent situation happened that it should have never escalated to, but he got mad because he didn't get the answer that he wanted. And I was talking to my grandmother about it. And I said, Grandma, at this point, I'm done. He ain't got to worry about me no more. He ain't got to talk to me. I'm good, because you ain't going to keep calling me out of my name. My grandmother said, I don't blame you. I said, okay. That's how I knew I wasn't wrong in this situation. I mean, I already knew I wasn't wrong.
Nah, I mean,
But
even
you're not going to keep playing in my face like that,
Even if they
because
thought you
would
was
you
wrong,
want your
well, fuck
son, would you want your son talking to your daughter like that? So what makes you think it's okay for you to keep talking to me all kinds of damn crazy?
Right. I'm still stuck at backbiting bitch.
Yeah, you call me a backbiting bitch, a instigating bitch, a lonely bitch, a miserable bitch. I've been all kinds of stuff. I said, oh, okay. Well, I got a house and you live in your grandparents' basement, but okay.
Lonely? Maybe.
All right.
Lonely? Maybe.
You in the basement looking like fat bastard, but okay.
Miserable? Sometimes. But yo, I ain't no backbiting bitch. Fuck you.
I ain't never been miserable. I've been lonely some days. I ain't never been desperate. I ain't never been miserable.
Fat bastard. So,
I did call him fat bastard. That's what he looked like.
Y'all ready to wrap up this
Fuck
conversation?
yeah.
Look, I guess.
Yeah, you're a little like a
All right,
baby.
so we have some.
I ain't so stupid, y'all.
Hey, yo.
in my belly.
I mean, yo, that's better than a bug life.
I mean,
Shut up. And on that note, this was a great conversation, y'all. We gonna take another commercial break.
I wasn't wrong.
Before the shut up. We gonna take another commercial break, and we will be right back. Go. It's on you, Shauna. I ain't Jesus. Go ahead.
we in here tripping, y'all. We
All
in
in
here
this
tripping. What we doing?
I laughed out loud on the bus, yo.
What was it? Was it Bug's Life or was it Burn 'Em Down?
No, I was laughing because I remember the fucking story.
See, you remember.
I called Keita and told her, I was like, yo, oh shit. Fucking Jeremy Kyle.
Jeremy Kyle.
Oh, God. We not get go ahead, Shauna. We not bringing that shit up again. We are not bringing that up again.
What are we doing?
Q&A.
It's time. It's time for my portion. You ain't
Yes,
introduced me, Jesus.
Well, we doing the Q&A segment. What you got this week, Shauna?
All right, y'all. So before I get started,
Or as Shauna says it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to enter Shauna B. with the Q&A.
Go ahead, Shauna.
so creepy. All right. So before we get started, y'all, if y'all have any questions that y'all want asked or answered on the show, y'all can reach out to us via email at askwandapod@gmail.com. That is ASKWANDAPOD@gmail.com. You can also reach us via social media. We are on Twitter and Instagram at WandaPod. _, y'all. And we are on Facebook as Wine and Sign Audacity, the podcast.
Right?
Let us know when you send the episodes in.
Damn straight.
That's it. But when y'all send in y'all questions, let us know if y'all want to be anonymous, if y'all want us to use initials, if you want first name, last initial, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Or if you really just don't give a fuck because who gonna check you, boo?
That part.
All right, so for this episode, we're going to stay real toxic, y'all, because, you know, that's what we do.
Lord.
Yeah.
So, in the theme of toxic family members, I have a question and I have a story.
Oh, shit.
The first question comes from Brandon's favorite thread.
Shit.
And that is the Am I the Asshole thread. I'm sorry, no, that's my favorite thread. This comes from 6 Brown Chicks. I do have an Am I the Asshole question though, y'all. So in the theme of Carlos still didn't help me, we have a few other people who didn't get no goddamn help, okay?
Okay.
This first question reads.
Go ahead, Sean.
This first question, I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta get my life together.
Please do.
I listen to my wife's phone calls because she lies.
What the fuck? What?
Mm-hmm. I overheard her planning an orgy, so I crashed her event. Brandon, stop laughing!
I'm dizzy. Just my head hurt. Hold on.
Listen, I overheard her planning an orgy, so I crashed her event. She accused me of being abusive and controlling. I was beaten and sexually spanked by 2 naked men. I hate my wife, but I don't want to fail at marriage. Advice.
You want my honest opinion?
Y'all, Brandon is in here in tears, y'all. Brandon, stop laughing.
Yo.
I knew this one was gonna get him.
That's better than a Bug's Life, bro.
That's better than a Bug's Life.
He got spanked.
Yes, he was beaten and spanked. That's what he said. But he loved her. No, I take that back. He hates her, but he don't want to fail at marriage. Ern.
So, you want my honest opinion?
Yep.
Bro, you better get your GIMP mask. Some leather stirrups. And a Kumo D backstage pass.
A Kumo D backstage
Cause
pass.
you finna go for a ride.
But it sounded like he already did. They whooped his ass.
Cause I mean, you ain't trying to fail in marriage, bro. You better learn how to be the dominant. Cause they treated you
He
like
better be TTG, trained to go.
Yo, they treated you like a sub, bro. Only thing they ain't do was
She sat there,
sodomize
let
that
them do
ass,
the
bro.
shit. So I guess this
What?
week is not Carlos didn't help me, it's Carla didn't help me.
Bro,
Oh Lord.
you should have just minded your business.
He should have minded his business.
Should have minded the business that paid you. If your wife wants sitting there with like 12 sweaty motherfuckers and get railroaded, bro.
She got that back cracked. Cracked.
Motherfucker walking there, get off of my mama.
Walking all you hear.
Lay down. You want oil?
Make it shut. Okay.
Not you want oil, Jesus.
You want leather or you want wood? Because either way, it's fitting to hurt.
Not as fitting to her.
It's fitting to hurt, boy.
All right.
This nigga
Brandon,
got flogged and beat, bro.
Brandon, what advice would you give him? Because Carla didn't help him.
You want to save your marriage, but then your wife let two grown men whip your ass and then beat you with a pat.
Yes.
Baby, ain't nothing to save in here but your dignity and sense of self.
Yes. Divorce.
I'm sorry.
Run, nigga, run.
She was like, I'm not gonna be the only bitch you here today. I get his ass.
First is flogging. First is flogging. Then it's pegging.
No. No.
They gonna hold it down. They gonna hold him down. Look at him like you want oil or jelly. Either way.
Nigga, what?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, shit. I seen that episode Locked Up. I seen it.
Oh shit.
I'm not.
No.
What's the next question? Please.
So,
He three steps from getting paid,
we
bro.
gonna stay with this 6 brown chick thing, but I'm debating on whether to give y'all this story or rather to give y'all the question that I had.
Either
So
or,
in the
fuck it.
sense of Carlos didn't help me, we gonna stick with the question. This question reads, my uncle speaks at family funerals to spill out secrets. At my daddy's funeral, he said my mom was the neighborhood hoe and dad took care of me anyway. And the girl, me, became a hoe too because I have an OnlyFans. My mom was there. I'm sorry, my man was there and he didn't defend me. Advice.
He ain't gonna defend shit if it ain't true, bro. Like, I mean, if it was a lie, it's like, that's a lie. I'll whoop your ass. Nah, like, cause he probably a star in that shit, bro.
He on the OnlyFans?
Yeah, he probably the co-star. And I was like, yo.
Maybe.
But no, I had to talk to Uncle Charles, yo, fuck that. Hey, nigga, stop. This nigga, you don't say nothing, he ain't even a drunk uncle, bro, that just started talking about, that ain't Brandon. Brandon ain't that boy daddy. Brandon's a good man.
So good man, Savannah.
But he ain't that boy daddy.
Jesus, man, Joseph.
They can't help us.
But
right
ain't
now.
it always that one family member that tell everybody business? That tell everything.
And then got a
You
fake
know how
ass,
much dirt I done got off of one of my aunts?
then got a fake ass
That was
ailment.
followed up by, but you ain't heard that from me.
Oh no, they got a fake ass ailment. So so the minute somebody get mad and shit, they fake a heart attack or fake
They having
epilepsy.
chest pain.
No, they fake epilepsy on this side. Start fake seizure.
epilepsy.
Yeah.
I got an aunt that tell everybody business. And guess what I do? I sit there like this. Girl, what? Really?
Yo, not Uncle Charles. Uncle Charlie.
You lying.
Child.
All right, y'all.
Send that child.
I don't.
So before we bring this episode to a close,
Can I give my
what do
answer
you
to
have
that?
to say,
Oh,
Brandon?
Oh man, son.
Because I need to hear this. Because y'all can see Brandon's facial expressions.
I am at a loss for words today.
Shit, that's different.
Ain't it? I always got something to say.
See, that's how I knew you was so sad. You was sassy, bro. Cause you always came back with the quick. You always came back with the quick one.
Nigga,
And
did
it
you
was
just call me sassy?
Not sassy, Jesus.
sassy.
That's not the right word to use.
No.
What you mean by
okay.
sassy, bitch?
No, what you
Exactly.
mean by sassy, bitch?
Prime example. No, actually, no. Brandon, I do applaud Brandon because Brandon probably the only one that went toe to toe with me verbally, and then actually made me think about my
Because Brandon's comebacks be so rare, not rare, so random. Because you don't expect Brandon is usually the quiet one. So when he says some shit, you be like, Brandon.
Just because
It'd be so funny.
Just because I'm laying here don't mean I'm sleeping, nigga.
It used to be the best. Brandon got the best comebacks ever, and he say the shit with a straight face, and that's what makes it funnier.
I still don't know how to respond to this question, story, comment.
I'm sorry, bro.
So, is that right there on your phone? Is that this thing? Let me see this so I can try to make sense of it. The one that you just read.
About Uncle Charles giving everybody business at a funeral.
At the funeral.
Oh no, because everybody there.
At the funeral.
Because everybody there.
This says my man didn't defend me advice. So, okay, first off, go toe to toe with the uncle. He putting your business up there, put his business up there.
I say same thing.
Uncle Charles, don't you have a daughter that you don't take care of?
Uncle Charles, no,
Charles.
don't act like we don't know you used to suck dick for crack.
Didn't you give your wife the clap from your boyfriend? I mean, since we all in a secret sharing mood,
Yo, oh
I
fuck
can share my
yeah.
own secrets too.
Let's go.
Your boyfriend, I mean, if it depends on his motivations. He might have known that this family member been talking shit and just didn't pay no mind. That's why he didn't say anything.
I agree.
I know something.
I would have a
about
conversation.
You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school.
Again, assuming the scenario is fake. I mean, given the source, it probably isn't. But yeah, I just
Yeah,
Girl.
you let out Uncle Charles business too, because you know he out here talking about you got OnlyFans. It's like yeah, I wasn't the only one
How would he
sucking
know
dick.
I got an OnlyFans if he wasn't looking at my OnlyFans? So we need to look at him sideways. How you know?
I think I'm done.
Because Uncle Charlie been watching that ass since she was since she was 10.
Yeah, Uncle Charles is nasty.
That's gross.
He's nasty.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, so before we end this thing, the final question, y'all.
That wasn't the last one.
Got one more because I couldn't decide and this shit was funny.
Shit.
I've dated James, a single dad with 2 kids for 9 years.
First of all, his name is James.
Named James. I've raised them since they were 5 and 6. They're teens now. I told his daughter to do her chores. You should have had kids. We're not your kids, and you're not his wife. Why are you here? James said nothing.
Ooh.
Advice.
Ooh. And I was
Is
there.
that her house?
I don't know. She ain't clarified whether it was her house or not.
Fuck that.
But she's saying she raised them since they was 5 and 6 years old. So
I was there since 5 and 6. Mm-hmm. So that's mama.
So add 9 to 5 and 6.
Bitch.
Because she said they teenagers
I
now.
will snatch
14 and
that.
15.
I snatched that little bitch up by her braids.
Not the little bitch.
Not the little bitch.
Look at you, little bitch.
I be wanting to say that to people, kids, and I'm like, Shauna, that's a child.
Like, yo, I ain't your daddy. I ain't your mama. I ain't having it.
Okay, Prince.
No, but you already
That
know.
was Robin Herb.
I ain't your daddy. I ain't having it. God damn it. Like, no.
Baby kid.
You gonna get in there. No, you gonna get in there. You gonna do your, whatever the chores is. You gonna wash some fucking dishes. I ain't your mama. Okay, I don't gotta be your mama to fuck you up.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of disrespectful children. My bipolar kick in.
You know what? But I think how we grew up as kids and respecting adults. So it's like when we had other kids like disrespecting adults, that shit kick in, and you.
Me and my cousin just had that conversation the other day when I was at her house. We had that conversation about how these children are so much different than we were growing up. We could leave the house, the chores wasn't done. If you hear Anita Baker first thing Saturday morning, get your ass off the bed.
Come grab this bucket and this mop because you're about to get through. So I'm gonna tell on myself because I can kind of relate to the scenario from the child's perspective.
Okay.
The man my mother was entangled with for several years.
Not entangled, Jesus.
I didn't care for him.
Okay.
And I made that known very openly.
Was
and
there something particular that you didn't care about?
I didn't like the way he treated my mother.
Understand.
And I told him that too. I told him that the same way I said stuff to y'all. You say I say stuff with a straight face. I said it to his face directly in front of my mother, and then looked at her like waiting for a response from her. And she just looked at me and was like,
"Yo,
okay.
I've been putting that same."
I told the man I didn't care for him at all.
That was your right.
Yeah.
And he tried to play that role with me, playing the fatherly role. So, nigga, my father did. I don't know you. Why are you in my face telling me what to do? And then I said, you want me to do what? No, thank you. And turned around and walked away.
Cuz go to hell.
Hey, bruh, I got stuck. As a matter of fact, I think I called y'all that day. Like, me and my man and stuff, I got into it because this nigga wanted me to rake leaves. And I'm like, what the fuck you want me to rake leaves? Why you want me to rake leaves if the leaves are still going to come down? They still coming down.
Because, I kind of get that, Aaron. But
go ahead. No.
No.
But my thing is, you want me to do it. You want me to do it with you. You didn't ask me to do it. You telling me to come down. I was like, yo, like at this point, I was finna go out with y'all. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. Then he jumped up in my face like, I know you ain't had no daddy. Like, you ain't had your dad around. I know, like, I ain't your dad. And it's like, yo, you're not my dad, period. But I think his issue with us was, we were growing. Like, me and Brandon already grown. Like, at that time, Brandon's like 17, I'm 20. So it's like, yo, we didn't really, most of the stuff that he said or the thing or how he treated his kids, you couldn't do that to us.
Right.
Because my mother wasn't having it. Like, you're not putting your hands on my kids type shit.
Right.
If you got a problem with them, you come to me and whatever. And then, but all of us, we grew up, it was just us. It was us four. So, here you come trying to be the dad, and it's like
trying to play King Dingaling. And it's like, just because it's your house, it's my mother's house too. She own it equally, make the fuck on my face.
I mean, no bullshit. That was Robin's house.
Well,
Prior to her marrying him.
No, even when they was married, that was Robin's house.
No, that's what I'm saying. She had that house prior to marrying him. Anyway.
No.
They were
living in an apartment off of
before they moved into that house?
Yeah.
I thought they got married after they moved in that house.
No, they got married when I was still living in Milford.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought they got married after y'all moved into that house.
That was Robin's house.
Okay.
You feel me? Robin was paying bills. I was paying the cable bill. You feel me? And like, yo, nigga couldn't keep a job at that time. So like my mother took care of everything else.
Not you putting his business out there.
Give a fuck.
And I who?
Like, no, but what I'm saying is you couldn't necessarily, it's like, yo, but it's like you trying to throw your weight around and then it's like, yo, we know. Like we know. So it's like, yo, you can't, like, and then it's like, I'm my mother's son. You can't tell me no shit. I can't know no shit and then look at you like, and let you sit there and talk like you do shit around here. It's like, nigga, you don't do shit around here. You don't do shit around here, sir. This my mother's house.
I mean,
everything, and then it's like we get into arguments, and he say, "Yo, this my house." Like, no, nigga, this is my mother's house. Just like I can get out, you can get out too.
Oh, that sound like ATL. This is my daddy's house. Be clear.
I mean,
but I'm saying it's like, yo, I can just like I can get out, you can get out too. This her house. Brandon told
you. So then the nigga he was gonna pack his stuff in a hefty bag.
You know what? I remember that.
Nope.
Is this the end of the?
That was the final question.
That was the final question.
We got shit to do today.
I'm sorry. You know what? On that note, I think I'm gonna end it here. Aaron, thank you for coming on this episode. It's gonna go to a place we don't need to go.
Like you're bullshitting.
Thank y'all for listening.
That's how the nigga left.
Jesus.
Not you scared of Jesus.
My God, today. If you have any questions for us, please
Shit in a
feel,
trash bag, bro.
please feel free to send them to us at askwandapod@gmail.com. That's askwandapod@gmail.com. Shit. With that, we thank you. We love you. We appreciate y'all listening.
My bad.
No, nigga, shut up. Just shut up. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, we gonna wrap up here. We love y'all. We'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.